It is Wednesday, January 29th. Here's what we're working on this morning. There has been another smash and grab at a jewelry store, this time in Lime Ridge.
Ontarians will head to the polls next month. We will kick off our Ontario election coverage hearing from you.
And the Montreal Canadiens slide continues against the Winnipeg Jets. And it is an odd morning to wake up to because the weather is just kind of all over the place this morning. Thanks, Kelly, for joining us again this week. So, Brian.
Yes.
I got up early this morning thinking I'm going to have to shovel a lot. I'm going to have to clean off the car with all the snow that we got last night. And then there was nothing.
Nothing. No. Just actually, I had a little trace of some snow flurry activity throughout the overnight in our area. But it's strange because you're seeing puddles this morning.
It was strangely warm. I was expecting it to be cold and
5 degrees today. 5 degrees in the thermometer.
That's right. The temperature went up throughout the evening and the overnight hours. We're sitting at +2 right now, so there's a fair bit of melting going on. However, it's not going to last because the approaching cold front is going to drop across us later on this morning. Actually, the temperature should start to fall pretty soon. As I said, we're +2 right now, but we're going to sink during the day to -4 later this afternoon, and we'll have a wind chill of -12. So the puddles are going to freeze, and with that cold front going through, we could get a blast of some snow flurry activity. And talking about the winds picking up, winds could gust to 70 kilometers an hour throughout the morning as that cold front goes through, and as we get that blast of snow, we could get some reduced visibility. So there are weather advisories all the way around the horseshoe for travel today, so be very careful with those blasts of snow flurries that we're going to get as the morning progresses into the afternoon. We'll talk about it in detail coming up. How about a check on traffic this morning? Looks pretty good here at the 403 on Waterdown Road. Once again, doing fine. Light volume in the Hamilton area. No collisions right now. Just a few MTO traffic cameras. Red Hill Creek camera, Toronto-bound lanes away from us on that particular shot. Same here at the top of the Burlington Skyway Bridge. Flip ahead to east of Appleby Line. Toronto bound towards us. You'll see how wet the roads are this morning. We are getting, even though it's +2, we are getting some light flurry activity right now. So please take it carefully on the roads because the temperature goes from the plus side to the minus side. So we're going to get a freeze up as the day goes on. We'll talk about it coming up. Right now, let's check the news.
Okay, thanks very much. Well, Ontario party leaders, they're going to be hitting the campaign trail today as the snap winter election begins more than a year before the next fixed election date. Simone Gavras joins us now with what to expect on this very first day. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Annette. Well, Ontario Premier Doug Ford met with the Lieutenant Governor yesterday, who agreed to dissolve Parliament and call a very rare winter election. That's set for February 27th. Now, yesterday I spoke to some people to get more reaction on what they think about this snap election, and here's a little bit more about how they're preparing.
I have mixed feelings that I think that Ford would be the best person to deal with Trump. So I think that he would be the best person to get in right now.
Well, I don't think we really need one because I think Ford's doing a good job with what he's doing.
Overall, I guess it's okay. It'll be a sure of Doug Ford to have a longer mandate to match Trump. So for that reason, I think that's probably a good idea.
Ford has said that he needs a new mandate to deal with 4 years of Donald Trump and the threat to impose 25% tariffs on Canadian goods. That's expected to come into play as early as Saturday. Ford says his cabinet discussed an economic action plan, which will be shared throughout the election campaign. Ford took to X yesterday afternoon saying, quote, responding to this challenge will demand extraordinary action. The need to invest tens of billions of dollars in unplanned spending and tough choices about making Ontario's economy the most competitive place to invest, create jobs, and do business. Opposition party leaders have repeatedly said an election is unnecessary since Ford already has a mandate as premier right now. They also say an election would be expensive. Former Liberal MP Adam Vaughan says it's been no secret that Ford has wanted an election all along, and now he's trying to find reasons to justify it.
history shows that when you call elections to protect your interests rather than simply to execute democratic renewal, there's blowback. David Peterson found out the hard way. It's how we ended up with Bob Rae as premier and NDP government at Queen's Park. You could argue that Justin Trudeau did the same thing coming out of COVID. He thought the polls were strong. He thought it'd be a good time to get a new mandate, and bingo, he got delivered another minority government. So the electorate is fickle. We all take our role seriously in elections to vote and to pay attention. But when we feel like we're being gamed as voters, there's a bit of a pushback, and I think you're starting to see that in the polls a little bit.
Ontario party leaders will be launching their campaigns across the GTHA starting this morning, and that'll start the countdown to Election Day on February 27th. Kelly, back over to you.
Thank you, Simone. Hamilton police are investigating a fight that led to an innocent bystander being pepper sprayed. Officers say 3 men were involved in an altercation at a Walmart on Upper James near Fennell Avenue East around 8 o'clock last night. One person used bear spray on the person he was fighting, which also hit a bystander. The store was temporarily evacuated due to the amount of spray that was used. Police arrested a male youth who is now facing assault charges and a charge for disobeying a court order.
One teen's been arrested and police are looking for 3 others after a jewelry store robbery at Hamilton's Lime Ridge Mall.
2 of the suspects did run away and jump into the waiting vehicle that did drive off, while 2 of the other suspects ran out of the mall with one of them being pursued by a security guard, another security guard from the mall, as well as an officer with the police and some citizens. And they were able to arrest one of the suspects, which was a youth.
A group smashed display cases at People's Jewelers on Lime Ridge around 3 yesterday afternoon. A security guard has been treated for minor injuries. Police believe the suspects are all between 16 and 20 years old.
An update to a story we first told you about yesterday. Halton police say they're looking for 3 suspects following a brazen smash and grab at a jewelry store in Burlington Centre on Monday night. CHCH News has obtained security footage of the robbery. It shows 3 masked men enter Arrain Jewelry with sledgehammers. They smash 3 display cases and steal a large amount of diamonds and gold. Thankfully, the employee tells us she did manage to escape with very little injury.
So he was telling me to open the back door, and I said, no, I refused to open the back door. So he said, open the back door, and I said, no, there's nothing in the back room. So we got to this part here, and this is when he came closer to me, and he pushed me. I got up. I don't know, something must have came over me, and I just had so much adrenaline that I was able to push him out of the way. They all had weapons, so it is scary.
The store owner says they'll now have to keep their doors closed and not allow customers to wander in. Police say the trio fled in a blue Honda CR-V that was reported stolen from Toronto. Police are asking anyone with information to contact an officer.
A 17-year-old driver has been charged after a crash in Simcoe. A pickup truck and an SUV ended up in the front yard of a home at Norfolk Street and 2nd Avenue. This happened Monday afternoon. Both drivers had minor injuries. Norfolk OPP say a 17-year-old G1 driver faces several charges, including dangerous driving.
Well, there's a sense of relief in Norfolk County with residents with the arrests of 2 men in a string of deliberately set fires.
This was a very, very ongoing hit to the safety of the community that's been restored, and I really, really strongly like to see them held accountable for their actions.
Norfolk OPP arrested 2 men after a fire Sunday night. Police say they were in a pickup truck spotted at a fire last year. 30-year-old Matthew Smith and 43-year-old Chad Reimer, who both live in Norfolk, face 11 arson charges each. Reimer is also charged with impaired driving. Since late October, there have been 14 suspected arsons in Norfolk County. Police are still trying to figure out a motive.
And there are now 2 more confirmed cases of measles in the Haldeman, Norfolk area. Grand Erie Public Health says there are currently 12 confirmed cases in the region that it covers. That's Brantford and Haldeman, Norfolk, and Brant counties. The newly confirmed cases are 2 children recovering at home. People may have been exposed to this latest case at Walsingham Christian School between January 21st and January 23rd.
In the PWHL, the Toronto Scepters took on the Minnesota Frost, and Hamilton's Sarah Nurse got the Scepters on the score sheet.
It's good for 5th in the league. Miller and Nurse each have a couple of power play goals, and they're going to have one here. And it is Nurse out in front, banging it in. And we are tied.
Take another look. Nurse knocks the puck out of the air to tie the game at 1. To the 3rd period, Toronto down 3-2. Burlington's Renata Fast with a shot from the inside the blue line ties it up. She had a goal and an assist in the game. This one went to a shootout, and it was Claire Thompson on her 27th birthday with the game-winning goal. Minnesota downs Toronto 4-3.
In the NHL, the Montreal Canadiens were taking on the Winnipeg Jets. Both teams on a bit of a streak. Montreal's not the kind you want.
Kyle Connor at his own line. Just a few seconds left in the period. He'll drift it in. In comes Gustafson. Gooley. In front. Connor score! Quick strike. Kyle Connor with 0.5 seconds to go.
Kyle Connor scored twice as the Jets beat the Canadiens 4-1. Connor Hellebuck made 24 saves to lead the league now with 31 wins. The Jets play Boston tomorrow night, while the Canadiens will host the Minnesota Wild.
In Buffalo, Tage Thompson and J.J. Peterka each had hat tricks and an assist as the Sabres beat the Boston Bruins 7-2. They are now the first pair to score a hat trick in the same game with the Sabres since 2008. The Sabres are off until Saturday when they host the Nashville Predators.
Okay, here we go. 12 minutes after 6 o'clock on the 29th of January, and we are getting some precipitation right now. We are getting some snow flurry activity. Let's start with what we have here. Here's the 403 and Waterdown Road. You can see the poor visibility. That's the snow that we're getting right now. It's light in some areas, but it's heavier in others. Let's go to some MTO traffic cameras at the moment. Nothing happening in St. Catharines. Still pretty good here. Garden City Skyway East looks fine. Top of the Burlington Skyway Bridge, there's a bit of light snow, as you can see, all the way through now east of Appleby. Look at it coming down through here, and it's covering the camera lens here, and you can see it's precipitation, pretty slick on the roads. Same thing here at Sheraton going through Mississauga, and we still have a problem on the QEW. This is the QEW Niagara bound coming towards us here at Etobicoke Creek. Disabled vehicle off to the side. Still, they've got the right lane blocked, and of course it's on the right shoulder. And you can see the snow in the corner of the screen right there coming down fairly heavily at the moment. So let's go to our temperature right now. On the plus side, to start the day here, the temperature rose throughout the evening and overnight. We're sitting at 2 degrees. We were 3 degrees earlier this morning, so 2 degrees right now. That wind is strong and will get stronger throughout the day. Southwest 30 gusting to 46. And we do have some light snow flurry activity at the moment. For school today, we're looking at clouds. We are looking at flurries. Could be 2 centimeters by the time it comes to an end a little later on. And the temperature is going to fall throughout the day. We're going to fall to -4. There's the approaching cold front. That's going to drop its way through, bring us that blast of snow with reduced visibilities and quite strong winds today as well. And then another warm front. So the temperatures go up, the temperatures go down. That's what's going to happen for the next couple of days. So today, temperatures with a couple of centimeters drop to -3, 4, and 5 by later on. But then you factor in the wind. The wind today could gust to 70 kilometers an hour, giving us a wind chill of -12 later on. So from mild to cold. A cold night tonight, -9, 10, 11 degrees around the Horseshoe. -12 for Guelph and Kitchener. Still some snow flurry activity overnight tonight. And then tomorrow, we climb again to the plus side. So another warm front goes through. We'll get a little sun, little flurry activity, but generally for the Horseshoe, we're looking at a +1 temperature for tomorrow. Okay, so out the door on this 29th of January, it is cloudy. We do have some light snow. It's a little heavier in some areas this morning, and our temperature is mild at +2. Long range coming up. Annette Kelly.
Okay, coming up after the break, we're going to say good morning to Louis Bucko with a preview of what he's talking about in Chit Chat. And Ontario's auto sector is getting a big boost in funding. We'll tell you where the money will go right after this. And we say good morning to Louis Bucko, who says he's ready this morning with more on what's coming up in Chit Chat.
Hey, after a big yawn, I'm ready. We have a new Super Bowl commercial to check out. This one's starring Canadian legend Catherine O'Hara and Willem Dafoe.
Okay.
The Jonas Brothers are reuniting with Disney for an all-new Christmas movie. Yes, we're talking about Christmas in January. And later this morning, I'll be joined by actor Jesse Cullen from the hit Netflix show The Recruit to talk about season 2 of the show, which hits the streamer tomorrow.
Okay, remember Christmas less than 11 months away now.
Countdown is on.
Hey, thanks, Louis. We'll talk to you soon.
See ya.
Well, in overseas trading this morning, the Canadian dollar is down 14 basis points to 69.31 cents U.S. Gold is up $3.50 an ounce, and crude oil is 73 cents higher, trading just above $73 a barrel. Now, in midday trading in Europe, markets are up in London and Frankfurt, but they're down a little bit in Paris.
Over in Asia, the Tokyo Stock Exchange gained nearly 400 points. Hong Kong and Shanghai markets were closed for the Lunar New Year holiday. North American markets are looking to continue the upward trend today after markets dipped on Monday. The TSX gained 130 points, the Dow added 136, and the Nasdaq was up nearly 400 points. Investors are focusing on the Bank of Canada and the U.S. Federal Reserve's interest rate decision today.
A $1 billion spending plan is set to fuel Ontario's auto industry. The federal and provincial governments are partnering with Linamar on a $1.1 billion deal to support new technology. Ontario is providing just over $100 million in grants toward the expansion, which Linamar says will create more than 2,300 new jobs and protect nearly 10,000 existing positions. Linamar says that money is going for ongoing product research and development and new manufacturing equipment.
Staying with the auto sector, General Motors reported record profits for 2024 and said it expects even better operating results in the year ahead. However, the automaker also admitted new policies under the Trump administration could impact those projections. Tariffs on imports from Canada and Mexico could disrupt GM's supply chain and raise the cost of assembling vehicles. That's because those two countries provide parts to GM's U.S. plants. The company also has assembly plants in both countries, sending cars to the U.S. market. Trump's positions on electric vehicles and the Environmental Protection Agency's emission rules could also have significant impacts on GM.
Coffee prices are going up, and that's thanks to the U.S. administration. Future prices for Arabica coffee from Latin America jumped nearly 2% yesterday. The increase came after Donald Trump said he would impose a 25% tariff on all goods coming from Colombia. The White House later paused that decision. Colombia is the third largest coffee producing country in the world. And the World Bank says Arabica coffee beans had already increased by 13% last month.
Spotify and Universal Music Group announced a multi-year deal on recorded music and music publishing. It establishes a direct license between the world's largest streamer and the world's largest music label. It's the first such direct license between the streamer and a major publisher in a few years. The deal covers Spotify's offerings in the U.S. and several other nations. The value of the deal and its exact length have not been released. The companies say the deal features new paid subscription tiers and a larger audio and visual content catalog.
Okay, we're going to take a quick break right now. Brian is back with your traffic and your 7-day forecast. And today, there's a lot going on in the forecast.
Coming up on 624 already, good morning. It's Wednesday, 29th of January. Looking at one situation on the QEW. It's Niagara bound coming towards us out of Toronto. So this is the QEW at Etobicoke Creek, a disabled vehicle off on the right shoulder, but they've also, it looks like they've got a right lane blocked there as well. Back into St. Catharines, Garden City Skyway looks pretty good. Red Hill Creek getting some precipitation at the moment, some light snow. Same here east of Brant, starting to slow down a bit. East of Royal Windsor, not a problem. And then we'll flip over to the 403 west of Mississauga Road. That's no problems in traffic. It's the roads that we're getting with that snow right now. It's slick roads this morning. And it's going to get even slicker because the temperature today is going to fall. Right now, we're sitting at +2 for Hamilton, Grimsby, Toronto, +1 for Mississauga. We were 3. The temperature is going to drop as the day goes on. There's our seasonal temperatures and sun times and records for today. And we are going to get some blasts of light snow. Today we should be 0 by the first bell with some snow flurry activity, and then -4 for later on with a wind chill of -12 because that wind is really going to pick up. So the cold front drops across us, drops our temperatures, gives us some blasts of some snow. Actually a snow squall warning in effect right now for Simcoe and Cayuga. So we're looking at maybe a couple of centimeters, but -4 today with a wind of about 70 kilometers an hour. Dropping to -10 tonight. Tomorrow we climb again, plus side with a warm front, some sun, some flurries. Look at +4 on Friday with chance of some showers. Saturday we drop again. The temperature just keeps going up and down and up and down. 4 on Friday, -7 on Saturday, +3 for Groundhog Day, and then into the minus column next week again. So look at your forecast. Annette, Kelly.
Okay, thanks very much. Well, CHCH is asking for your opinion. Our audience survey is back.
Last spring, 10,000 people completed the survey and provided us with lots of great ideas. This time, the survey is diving deeper with new questions and fresh ideas. When you complete the survey, you'll be entered to win a $50 Amazon gift card. You have until Sunday to chip in if you want to. Head to chch.com/survey or scan the QR code that you see on your screen. All right, visitors to the Louvre will eventually need a separate ticket to see the Mona Lisa.
Leonardo da Vinci's famous 16th century painting is getting its own room at the Paris Museum. This is part of an expansion in Reno that's going to see a new entrance for the world's largest museum. The goal is to ease overcrowding because about 9 million people visit the Louvre each year, many just to see the Mona Lisa. French President Emmanuel Macron wants to grow that number to 12 million visitors a year. And to pay for it, ticket prices will be going up for non-European Union visitors next year. The expansion and renovation still a few years away, with a goal for a new entrance to the Louvre to be finished by 2031. So we've both seen it, and
yes,
it's kind of like, it's small.
Underwhelming, I would say. I was like, I saw this huge crowd of people. I'm like, oh, the Mona Lisa's right there. And then you look at it and you're seeing it from so far away because there are so many people.
Yes.
And it's tiny.
It's tiny. And there's so many other great pieces in that same huge room that deserve a lot of love. And I guess they're going to get it.
Yeah,
okay.
Good.
All right, stay with us. We've got lots more to come right after this.